Yeah, I did the first. 1 second.
You have done most of them or you haven't done most of them? Tell me that.
I have done. I have skipped this similar type questions.
No. Don't do that, okay? Okay, Rifat? Don't skip
Yes.
any questions, okay?
Yeah, I started.
Don't.
I started yesterday, so.
Why you started yesterday only? Oh, okay. नहीं ऐसे ना छूटते रह जाएंगे आप, भले ही 1 घंटा कम सोइए 2 घंटा कम सोइए, लेकिन जब कोई चैप्टर खत्म हो गया, सॉल्यूशंस खत्म हो गया, तो सारे सवाल खत्म हो जाने चाहिए, ठीक है? ओके, बाय द वे आई विल डू वन क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम NCERT, that is 2 point. See, there are 3 questions which are successive after one another. 2.23. This is the question with can you read this question? Tell me whether we are on the same book or not. Just want to see that. Suggest the most important type of intermolecular attractive interaction in the following pairs, right? Yes, Rifat?
So I don't have the textbook right now, so I'm opening on the laptop just.
You are opening the laptop now. Okay, fine. Check what is 2.23 question. Suggest the most important type of intermolecular attractive interaction in the following pair. Is that the question? No?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. The same question, no? And let me also open it here. Then there is 2.24. Based on the solute-solvent interaction, arrange the following in order of increasing solubility in N-octane. Explain, right? And then there is amongst the following compound, identify which are insoluble, partially soluble, and highly soluble in water. Correct? Yes or no?
Sir, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
You can't hear me. Wait a second. I may get disconnected, but just please be here. Okay. Can you hear me properly now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So 2.23, 2.24, and 2.25. These 3 questions, these are of similar nature, right?
Yes.
Okay. In all of them, in all of these 3, you have to identify intermolecular. Sorry. What did you say, Rifat?
Molarity.
Not molarity. No, not molarity. You have to identify the intermolecular force of attraction. Do you understand what is intermolecular force of attraction? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you know there are mainly 2 types of intermolecular force of attraction that we are concerned with. One is polar, and the other is non-polar. So can you identify polar and non-polar molecules? Tell me. Bataiye. We have hexane. Will it be polar? First of all, tell me, can you identify polar molecules and non-polar molecules? Yes, Rifat? No? Okay. I can't hear you. Can you please repeat what did you say?
I can't remember at the moment.
I can't remember at the moment. Okay, fine. See, the polar molecules, it will have a dipole moment. It will have a dipole moment. Okay. That means in this polar molecules, there will be, do you know electronegativity? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Now, there will be a huge electronegativity difference in polar molecule. Okay. In non-polar molecule, there will be very little, or you can say there will be no dipole moment for. Obviously, there will be no dipole moment in non-polar, and the electronegativity difference, it will be very low. It will be very low. Okay. For example, If I say this molecule hydrogen, H2, what do you think? Is there any electronegativity difference between hydrogen and hydrogen? Is there any electronegativity difference? Yes, Rifat, tell me. This hydrogen and this hydrogen, will there be any electronegativity difference between these two hydrogens, or their electronegativity value will be same? What do you think, Rifat?
Same.
Same, right? If I have HCl, now in this case, you tell me what will happen. There will be electronegativity difference, yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Now this is non-polar and this is polar. Okay. So the molecules in which you don't have electronegativity difference. Similarly, methane. What do you think about methane? Polar or non-polar?
Non-polar.
Non-polar. Okay, fine. So you understand the polar and non-polar. Hai? So if you look at 2.23, the first question is, suggest the most important type of intermolecular attractive interaction between the following. So you have N-hexane and N-octane. Now both of these are alkenes, and all the alkenes, they are what? They are non-polar. Now when you have non-polar molecules, the intermolecular force of attraction, IMF, is what it is? London forces or dispersion forces? Dispersion forces. Or London forces. Got it? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Second, tell me, you have I2 and CCl4. What do you think? What are these two? They are polar, non-polar? CCl4, sorry, not CCl2, CCl4.
Sir, which question are you doing?
2.23.
In my textbook, it's defined the following terms.
अरे वही तो हम पूछते थे आपके. अब तो ये देखिए, ये सवाल कहाँ पे है आपके इसमें? Where can you see N-hexane, N-octane? Initially, I was asking you that only, ना? आपने कहा हाँ, ये सारे सेम ही हैं. Suggest the most important type of intermolecular attractive interaction in the following pair.
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah.
What happened? Which question? This
Sorry,
one.
I got confused. I thought you were talking about 2.3. It is correct. It's 2.3.
2.23, na?
Yeah.
2.23. Okay. Okay. So I2 and CCl4, these are what? Polar, non-polar?
It's I2. It is
Iodine and
polar.
iodine and iodine. Will there be any electronegative difference between these two?
No.
No. So this will be non-polar, right?
Non.
Achha. When you see CCl4, what do you think? This will be polar or non-polar?
Non-polar.
Non-polar, right? So both of these are non-polar. So again, the intermolecular force of attraction will be dispersion force. Is this right? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Third is NaClO4 and water. So water is H2O. So NaCl4, it will be ionizing into Na plus and ClO4 negative, right? And water is H2O. So this is what ion, and this is dipole. So the interaction will be ion dipole interaction. Is this correct? Yes or no? Please tell me. Any problem till here?
No.
No problem. Fourth is methanol and acetone. So methanol is CH3OH, and acetone is CH3 carbon double bond O, CH3. So both of these are having a dipole moment, as you can see like this. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So both of these are what? Polar. Correct?
Yes.
That means both of them will have dipole-dipole interaction. Right? Between these two pairs, there will be dipole-dipole interaction. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Then there is acetonitrile and acetone. Acetonitrile and acetone. So again, both of these are what? Polar. And this is also polar. So the intermolecular force of attraction will be dipole interaction. Okay. Now, when both of these things, when both of the systems are polar or when both of them are non-polar, whenever there is a like or similar intermolecular force of attraction, then they are soluble. There is a thumb rule for solubility: like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. Okay. And what is this like? Like means the intermolecular force of attraction on those two should be similar. That means if one is polar, the other should be also polar. That means polar will dissolve polar. Polar dissolves polar molecules, and non-polar dissolves non-polar molecules. Can you remember this, Isano? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me. Let us start. I don't know what happened to other students. To see, no one has joined. Okay. I have to see what happened. Haloalkane and haloarenes. Okay, is this chapter has been started? Tell me yes or no in your school.
Yes, we finished this one.
You finished this chapter. What did you find the most difficult thing here?
My basics are not good in this chapter, so.
Okay, basics. Basics starting for IUPAC nomenclature?
Yes.
Okay. So were you there when I taught, like one day I gave like initial lecture about haloalkane and haloarene. Were you present in that day?
No.
No, okay, no problem. 11th June, and it is what, Saturday, right? It is Saturday. Okay. So I'll start this chapter from the very starting, from the very beginning, from the classification of haloalkenes also. Okay, from the classification of haloalkenes. You don't need to know anything about haloalkenes and haloarene from right now. Please write the topic. Haloalkenes and haloarenes. Are you okay with this dark mode of setup, or do you prefer white? Tell me. What do you prefer?
No, this is okay.
Light is better.
The dark one is better.
Dark one is better. Fine. Most of the students are saying that only. Okay. Fine. Now, there are a few words that I want you to answer me. Do you understand what is the meaning of these things? Do you know what does it mean by aliphatic? Aromatic, saturated, unsaturated. Don't write in any of this, okay? बताइए. Do you know the meaning of any of these? Yes or no? Tell me.
So the first one I don't know.
The first one you don't know. Okay, fine. Aromatic, you know. So what is aromatic? Tell me. Any molecule that? Rifat,
Yes.
what is aromatic? I am asking.
Um, it's a molecule that um, it has a
It has a,
ring shape.
sorry, it has a what, Rifat?
Has a ring shape.
Ring shape. No, matlab like that means you don't have. Okay, fine, no problem. We'll look at each and everything. Okay, tell me what is saturated. What do you remember about saturated?
Just it is a solution. No.
Not saturated solution, saturated hydrocarbon. Unsaturated hydrocarbon.
It's the covalent bonds. They have
What do they have?
um, they have they have double covalent bonds.
Covalent. नहीं, ठीक है, चलिए, no problem. ठीक है, so we'll start with with these basics also. Okay, these basics also. Okay, see. Okay, you know about what is alkane? Tell me. Alkene, alkyne. ये पता है आपको?
हाँ.
बताइए alkene. alkene छोड़ दीजिए, alkene में क्या होता है ये बताइए.
Alkyl.
alkene में क्या होता है? What is the difference between alkane, alkene and alkyne?
Alkene has a carbon. No.
Alkene has a
Carbon.
carbon carbon. आगे तो बोलिए.
Carbon double bond.
Carbon okay, double bond होता है यहाँ पे. Very good. Alkyne will have alkyne में क्या होगा?
Hello.
हाँ, I can hear you. Tell
Yes,
me.
alkane has a carbon triple bonds.
Triple bond, very good. So we'll have triple bond, and alkene will have only single bonds, right? Carbon carbon single bonds. Very good. Now, the aliphatic carbons, aliphatic that we have wrote here, aliphatic hydrocarbons are those hydrocarbons which are alkanes. Okay. So aliphatic, there can be two types of aliphatic. It can be alkane or it can be cycloalkane also. Clear? No problem. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Aromatic, as of now, what you will remember, anything which has a benzene is aromatic. Is that clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
ठीक है, aromatic में अभी आप इतना ही ध्यान रखिएगा, ठीक है? You don't, there is a definition of aromatic if you remember from organic chemistry class 11th standard that it should be planar, there should be 4n plus 2 pi electrons. Do you remember these rules? Yes or no? Tell me. कुछ सुना लग रहा है?
हाँ.
है ना? So those are specific rules, but as of now, what you will remember, benzene is aromatic. Anything which has benzene ring is aromatic. Is this clear? Yes or no, Rifat?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let us do a deep dive into saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. ठीक है? Saturated and इसके बारे में कभी आपको confusion नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay? Are you listening?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I have a carbon atom, please listen, don't write. If I have a carbon atom, then the maximum number of hydrogen that I can have around it is 4. Yes or no? Tell me. Correct?
Yes.
है?
Yes.
Okay. Next, if I will have 2 carbon atoms, then the maximum number of hydrogens that I can have is 6. Correct? Maximum.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now, can I add more hydrogens here or here?
No.
Can I? No. That means this particular molecule is saturated in terms of hydrogen. That means we cannot add more hydrogen. That means it is saturated in terms of hydrogen. Correct? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Now, what can you see? Acha, tell me. Now, if I have 3 carbon atoms, then the maximum number of hydrogens that I can have is 3 plus 2, 5. Then again 3, how much? 8, right? C3H8,
Yes.
correct? Now, again, in this molecule also, we cannot add any more hydrogens. That means these molecules are saturated in terms of hydrogens, correct? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Now, also one more thing that you can observe here is all of them which I have given as an example, all of these are what? All of these are having carbon-carbon single bonds. Is that right? Yes or no? Please tell me. Can you see that?
Yes.
The type of bond they have is carbon-carbon single bond. That means all the saturated hydrocarbons, these are what? These are, all the saturated hydrocarbons are alkenes. Now, if I look at a carbon atom like this, how many carbons do I have here? Tell me, Rifat. In this molecule, how many carbons do I have? Yes, Rifat, in this molecule, how many carbons do I have? Bataiye. 2 carbons. Very good. And how many hydrogens?
4.
How many?
4.
4. Okay. But we know that the maximum number of hydrogen, if there are 2 carbons, can be 6. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, that means this molecule is unsaturated with respect to hydrogen. That means we can add some more hydrogens. Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
If I do some reactions, we can add more hydrogens. Correct, Rifat? Yes or no?
Yes.
Anna? And that is why, and you can see that whenever you will have a double bond or a triple bond, then with some reaction, you can add more number of hydrogen. But whatever reaction you do with alkenes, you cannot add more hydrogen. That means unsaturated hydrocarbons are 2. They will be either alkene or they will be alkyne. Yahan tak clear hai sab kuch? Yes or no? Please tell me.
It's clear.
Okay, fine. So what is aliphatic? Tell me. What is aliphatic? Bataiye. Aliphatic is? Rifat?
Aliphatic is the alkene and
Okay, right. लिख लीजिए.
Sir, can you repeat the aliphatic?
Aliphatic is alkane and cycloalkenes. All of these are known as aliphatic. Okay. Aliphatic molecules, they will only have a carbon-carbon single bond. That means alkene and cycloalkenes, these are aliphatic. Saturated are also alkenes.
Done.
Now let us write about haloalkane and haloarenes. Okay. So see, when you have aliphatic hydrocarbon, hydrocarbon, and if you exchange one of the hydrogen with X means any halogen. X is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, any of these hydrogens. If you exchange hydrogen with halogen, then you are going to get haloalkane or alkyl halide. There are two names for this. What you will be getting? You will be getting haloalkane or alkyl halide. Both of these are same thing. Now, when in a aromatic hydrocarbon, if you have an aromatic, an example से बताते हैं आपको. So you have CH4, and what did you do? You exchange one hydrogen with halogen. These are not reactions, please remember, okay? एक काम करते हैं, इसमें फ्लोरीन डलवा देते हैं. So this is one haloalkane, ठीक है? CH3, you exchange one hydrogen with chlorine or fluorine or bromine or iodine, any one of them, you'll be getting CH3 carbon, CH2 chlorine. Now these are what examples of? So this is what is the acha Rifat?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what in the first case, what is the halogen atom? Fluorine, right?
Yes.
Okay, that means it will be fluoro. How many carbon do we have?
1.
So what is the name for one carbon? Meth, right?
Yeah.
It will be fluoromethane. So यहाँ पे बताइए क्या है हमारे पास? What is this? Cl, right?
Yes.
So what should I write? Chloro. How many
Chloro.
carbons? For 2. What is the name for 2 carbons? What is the name for 2 carbons? Eth, right? Ethane. This will be chloroethane. Easy?
Yes.
Next is aromatic. If you have aromatic hydrocarbon, and you exchange one of the hydrogens with another halogen, then what do you get? You get haloarine. Haloarine. It is also known as aryl halide. Aryl halide. So if you look at the structure of benzene, benzene is having 6 carbons, a ring, and there is a hydrogen attached to each carbon atom like this. Now, if you exchange one of the hydrogen with halogen, let us write here chlorine. So you will have chlorine. All the others are hydrogen. So generally we don't show like this, but right now I'm mentioning them explicitly. Now this will be known as haloarine. What is the halo here? Chloro. And what is the arene? It is benzene. That is why it will be chlorobenzene. So here what do we have? What is the halogen here? Rifat, tell me.
Br.
Br. So what will be the name? Look here and tell me.
It will be bromobenzene.
Very good. Bromobenzene. Clear, yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us move on to the classification of haloalkanes. Write the heading. classification of halo, alkenes and haloarenes. Okay. So the number one classification is on the basis of what? It is on the basis of the number of halogen atom. Okay. Please write on the basis of number of halogen atoms. Okay. Now, there are three type of. If you have one halogen atom, then what will be the name? If you have two halogen atom and if you have three halogen atoms. Okay. So when you have one halogen atom, how many halogen atom? You have only one halogen atom. Now, when you have one halogen atom, the haloalkane will be named as monohaloalkane. Will be named as monohaloalkane. And the haloarene will be named as monohaloarene. If you have two halogen atom, then this will be named as dihaloalkane, dihaloalkane, and haloarene will be named as dihaloarene. And when you have three halogen atoms, then it is named as trihaloalkane, and this will be named as trihaloarene. Is it okay? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Classify the following on the basis of number of halogen atoms. Okay, number of halogen atoms. Number one, right? Yes, Ripat. Did you write the questions? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Okay. So attempt it, है ना? Giving you some time. You can write it, right? You can do these. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first one will be di.
Die. After that, what will be? Die. Hello.
Dihaloarine.
Hello.
Dihaloarine.
Hello, Areen.
नहीं haloalkene.
इसका ध्यान रखिएगा, ठीक है? हेलो अल्किन, हेलो अरीन में फर्क पता है ना आपको? नहीं तो ऊपर
हाँ.
देखिएगा फिर बाद में, ठीक है? बेंजीन रिंग रहना जरूरी है हेलो अरीन के लिए। डाई हेलो एल्केन। वेरी गुड। सेकंड वन मोनो डाई या ट्राई?
Mono. Second
मोनो।
will be mono.
मोनो
Then
हेलो
mono haloalkene.
हेलो एल्केन, राइट? एक काम कीजिए, इसमें से अपना डबल बॉन्ड अभी हटा दीजिए। थर्ड वन विल बी मोनो हेलो एल्केन।
Mono.
फोर्थ वन
One will be mono haloalkene. Mono halo.
फोर्थ वन
Fourth one. Sorry,
सॉरी।
name I forgot to write it. It will be dihaloalkane.
वेरी गुड। ओह सॉरी, अच्छा वो फोर्थ, ये फिफ्थ होगा यहाँ पे, सॉरी। दिस विल बी सिक्स्थ। चलिए फिफ्थ वन।
Mono haloarine.
वेरी गुड। मोनो हेलो अरीन। एंड सिक्स्थ वन।
Trihaloalkane.
वेरी गुड। ट्राई हेलो एल्केन। ओके, now the monohaloalkane compounds, these are further divided into two major classification. So if you look at monohaloalkanes, okay, now these classifications are more important now. Okay, these classifications are more important. Now monohaloalkanes can be classified into two. The first is compounds which have compounds containing sp3 carbon and halogen bond. Okay, and there are some compounds which have sp2 carbon and halogen bond. You understand between what is sp3 and what is sp2? Please tell me.
Yes.
You can easily identify, yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay, fine. यहीं पे सबसे पहले एक सवाल लिख लीजिए आप। Identify sp3, sp2 and sp carbon atoms. Okay. चलिए number 1 is what? बताइए. sp3, sp2, sp. पहला नंबर वाला कार्बन एटम क्या है? अच्छा लिख लीजिए, सवाल लिख लीजिए, उसके बाद बताइए. Yes, Rifat, tell me. First one is
First one is SP.
sp. sp, right?
Yes.
Okay. Second one.
Second one is
देखिए, कहीं भूलिएगा मत, इसको लिख लीजिए. If the carbon has triple bond, then it is going to be sp. If the carbon has double bond, then it is going to be sp2. If the carbon has only single bonds, then it is going to be sp3. ठीक है? Please write this down. अब बताइए नंबर 1. नंबर 1 क्या है? sp3. नंबर 2. अच्छा, can we just wait for 2 seconds, है ना? Let the exam complete, then we will complete. Okay? तब तक आप कीजिए इसको, और एक सवाल हम इसमें लिखते रहे. ठीक है? Yes, Rifat. First one complete. Yes or no? Tell me.
yes.
Okay. What is the third one? Tell me.
It is SP2.
Fourth one.
SP3.
sp3. Fifth one is
It's sp3.
okay, and sixth one.
sp3.
Sixth one. Yeah, sixth one, है ना?
Yeah, sixth one is sp.
Seventh one.
sp3.
अरे क्या है रिफत, ऐसे कैसे आप sp3 ध्यान से देख के बताइए कैसे, कार्बन ट्रिपल बॉन्ड है ना?
हाँ.
फिर ध्यान दीजिए, चलिए नंबर वन, टेल मी
Number one is sp3. No, sorry,
दिस का,
sp2. sp2.
पहले दिमाग में ये बताइए कि कार्बन सिंगल डबल ट्रिपल ये लेके आइए पहले, उसके बाद यहाँ पे मैच कर दीजिए, ठीक है? सेकंड बताइए, सिंगल डबल ट्रिपल।
Single. sp3.
ये बॉन्ड है ना इसके साथ, सेकंड कार्बन के साथ
हाँ.
डबल है ना बॉन्ड यहाँ पे? नहीं, बताइए।
हाँ.
सो इट विल बी sp2 ना?
Yes.
फिर आप sp3 बोल रही थी, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा? ये बताइए, थर्ड वाला बताइए, सिंगल डबल
Single
ट्रिपल
bond. Single
सिंगल
bond.
बॉन्ड्स, बताइए क्या होगा?
sp3.
एंड ये फोर्थ वाला?
Single bond sp3.
फिफ्थ वन?
Single bond sp3.
सिक्स्थ वन?
Double bond sp2.
वेरी गुड, ठीक है, चलिए
Third
नाउ
और
सिंस,
second वाला is sp2.
हाँ सॉरी sp2 होगा, sp2 करेक्ट। So now monohaloalkenes, it can be classified into two different sections, the one which have sp3 carbon and halogen atoms and the other which have sp2 carbon and halogen carbon and halogen bond. Okay, let me copy this part. Now these monohaloalkenes which have sp3 carbon and halogen atoms, their first categorization is alkyl halides, simple alkyl halides. Okay, and these simple alkyl halides, they have what kind of bond? Yeah, they have Rx bonds. That means carbon and halogen, it is represented by Rx. Now these carbon and alkyl halides, they can be further classified into three categories, which you must be knowing: primary alkyl halides. Now primary alkyl halide, it will have what kind of bond? It will have a bond in which the carbon atom is connected to the CX bond. This carbon atom is further connected to only one carbon atom. Is that right? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
ठीक है, चलिए, carbon of CX is connected to, I mean directly connected to, ठीक है, is directly connected to only one carbon. एग्जाम्पल आप इसमें लिख सकते हैं, CH3 CH2 Br. No, sorry, CH3 CH. This carbon can be connected to CH3 and this carbon can be also connected to CH3, but you have CH2 chlorine. So it is still what it is. See, this carbon atom is connected to how many carbons? Only one carbon, right? That is why it is going to be primary alkyl. Is it clear? Yes or no? Tell me. Primary alkyl halide. Okay. Then write secondary alkyl halide. And secondary alkyl halide, the carbon of CX is directly connected to two carbons. Okay, this way it is directly going to two carbons. Example you can write CH3, C, CH3. There's a hydrogen here and Br. So as you can see, this carbon atom which is connected to halogen, that means the carbon of CH, it is connected to how many? It is connected to two different carbon atoms. You can also write an example in which you can have, that is for example, say. So this is connected with three CH3 groups, three carbon atoms. But then it is connected to one carbon atom, which is connected to another carbon atom. And then this carbon atom is connected to, let us say, fluorine. Okay. Then here, as you can see, carbon, it is connected to how many? It is connected to only two CH3 groups, two carbons. That is why it is what? It is why it is second degree. This is also connected to two carbon atoms. That is why it is second degree. Is this clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Right, next, that is C, tertiary. Alkyne, halide. And this carbon of CX is directly connected to three carbons. Example, these can be examples. You write this down, let me know when you're done. Done?
Just
Okay.
the
Identify primary, secondary, and tertiary haloalkanes. Okay. Write the question. Achha, primary is also known as 1 degree, secondary is known as 2 degree, and tertiary is known as 3 degree. You know that, right? Yes or no?
yes.
Okay. Let me know when you are done writing the question. Done? Yes, Rifat, tell me.
One.
One minute.
Done.
So tell me A, primary, secondary, tertiary.
Primary.
This is the carbon which is CX, na?
Yes.
Arifat?
Yes.
This carbon is connected to how many carbons? Tell me. Hmm?
It is connected.
How many?
3.
Sorry. कितने बॉन्ड्स बना रहा है ये कार्बन? 2 बॉन्ड बना रहा है ना?
हाँ.
तो कितने कार्बन से कनेक्टेड होगा? हाँ?
Secondary.
सेकेंड.
Sir,
हाँ बताइए.
तो प्राइमरी वाला एग्जांपल ऊपर लिखा है ना, तो उसमें सेकंड वाला है. हाउ इज दैट प्राइमरी?
ये कार्बन कितने कार्बन से कनेक्टेड है? इस कार्बन को देखते हैं, ये समझ में आ रहा है आपको, है ना? CX यही वाला है, CX है ना? यस और नो?
हाँ.
ये कितने कार्बन से कनेक्टेड है बताइए डायरेक्टली?
एक कार्बन. यस.
बस प्राइमरी हो जाएगा फिर, है ना? सही है?
हाँ.
है ना? ठीक है. चलिए बी वाला बताइए. दिस कार्बन आटम इज कनेक्टेड टू हाउ मेनी कार्बन आटम्स? ये वाला CX बॉन्ड है आपका. दिस इज योर CX बॉन्ड, राइट?
यस. प्राइमरी.
प्राइमरी. इसमें बताइए आप. दिस इज योर CX बॉन्ड. So this carbon is connected to how many carbon directly? ये वाला कितने से कनेक्टेड है बताइए डायरेक्टली? सेकेंडरी ना?
हाँ.
चलिए ये वाला कार्बन बताइए कितने से कनेक्टेड है?
सेकेंडरी.
कितने से कनेक्टेड है? कितने कार्बन से? 2 कार्बन से कि 1 कार्बन से? 1 कार्बन से ना, बस एक ही कार्बन से है.
हाँ. वो
ठीक है? नहीं ठीक है?
नहीं ठीक है. वो
ठीक.
सर, वो क्या है? PO और
हाँ
नहीं, इधर लास्ट में क्या है?
ये
हाँ.
ये BR है. सॉरी आई मीन if it is not clear I'm really sorry. This is BR. Okay.
यस.
Okay, bromine. तो क्या हो जाएगा बताइए ये वाला? प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी, टर्शियरी?
प्राइमरी.
प्राइमरी. वेरी. बताइए ये वाला, ये भी BR है. ठीक है, माय बैड, है ना? तो यहाँ पे आपके पास ये कार्बन आटम है. दिस कार्बन आटम इज कनेक्टेड टू हाउ मेनी कार्बन्स?
3.
जल्दी बताइए. 3 कार्बन. तो क्या हो जाएगा?
टर्शियरी.
टर्शियरी. एंड दिस कार्बन इज कनेक्टेड टू हाउ मेनी कार्बन्स?
1.
ध्यान से. कितने बॉन्ड्स बना रहा है वो? इस बॉन्ड को छोड़ के कितने बॉन्ड्स बना रहा है बाकी? ये बताइए. CX बॉन्ड को छोड़ के कितने बॉन्ड? तो 3 कार्बन से कनेक्टेड होगा ना?
यस.
ठीक है. अगर वहीं पे मान लीजिए अगर हम ऐसे हाइड्रोजन लिख देते हैं यहाँ पे, अब क्या हो जाता है? ये प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी या टर्शियरी?
सेकेंडरी.
सेकेंडरी हो जाता है ना? अगर इसको भी काट के हम हाइड्रोजन लिख देते तो?
प्राइमरी.
नहीं. प्राइमरी, हाँ ठीक है, तब प्राइमरी हो जाता है. करेक्ट. लेकिन अभी क्या है? नाउ इट इज टर्शियरी. ठीक है, ओके। नाउ दिस इज अनदर टाइप ऑफ, नाउ ये तो सबसे पहला था आपका क्या, सो द फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ monohaloalkene which is formed through the sp3CX bond. sp3CX bond. There is another one which is known as, please write here, allylic halides. Second, allylic halide. Please write. The carbon of CX bond, the carbon of CX bond is further connected to carbon double bond carbon. ठीक है, यानी कि आपके पास क्या होगा, एक CX bond होगा, okay, and after that there will be a carbon atom. This carbon atom will be carbon double bond carbon. Is this clear? Yes or no? Please tell me, Rafat. See, the carbon of CX bond is further connected to carbon double bond carbon. ठीक है, so it is sp3, ये वाला क्या होगा आपके पास, sp2. You can also write it like this: halogen is connected to sp3 carbon, which is further connected to sp2 carbon. इसमें देखिए, halogen connected to sp3 carbon, which is further connected to sp2 carbon. ठीक है, same thing. Any of the definitions that you can write? I'll write an example here now. ठीक है, so carbon further connected to carbon double bond carbon. ठीक है, please write this down. Clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Allylic carbon. Now there is third one, which is known as benzylic carbon. Sorry, benzylic haloalkene. Benzylic halide. This is what benzylic halide. Now please listen here. Halogen is connected to, all of these are example of what, CS, the sp3CX bond. Okay, so all of the halogen, it will be connected to sp3 carbon. Halogen is connected to sp3. Oops, not halogen is not sp3. Halogen is connected to sp3. Connected to sp3 carbon, which is further connected to benzene ring. ठीक है, सबसे पहले आपके पास क्या होगा, halogen. We have halogen, it is connected to carbon. Now this carbon is what, it is sp3, that means CH2. Now this carbon is further connected to a benzene ring. Okay, so this is what, benzylic halide. This is benzylic halide, and please remember this carbon is known as benzylic carbon. This carbon is known as benzylic carbon. Clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so ये तीन टाइप की क्या थे आपके पास, जब sp3CX bond हो. When you have monohaloalkenes in which you have sp2CX bond. Now these will have, there are two different types of halides that you can form. The number one is vinylic halide. Please write vinylic halide. Right, so halide में एक L होता है, sorry. Vinylic halide. Okay. Now in this, halogen is connected to carbon-carbon double bond. Okay. So example will be halogen. It is connected to CH double bond CH2 like this. And the other examples that you can write is bromine. It is connected to CH double bond CH. Then there is, you can have CH3 also. But it is all of these are what? Vinylic halide. Is this clear, yes or no? You can also write it like this. If you have a double bond here, now this carbon can have a Br. It is going to be a vinylic bromide. That means the easy thing is X is directly connected to halogen is directly connected to C double bond C. Halogen is directly connected to C double bond C, vinylic halide. Vinylic halide. Is this clear, yes or no? Please tell me. Clear?
Yes.
Right. Next one, that is known as aryl halide, जो हम लोग जानते हैं. Second is aryl halide. Okay. Now, what is aryl halide? Halogen is directly connected to benzene ring. Halogen atom connected to benzene ring. Example you can write. A benzene ring is here. Bromine. Another benzene ring. Chlorine. Another benzene ring. Chlorine. All of these are examples of aryl halide. Okay. You can also have some things like this. Okay. This is also aryl halide. If you have a benzene ring like this, there is Br, and then here you have CH3. So it is also aryl halide. You just need a what? Halogen that is attached to benzene ring, directly attached to benzene ring. Is this clear, yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. You have written this now, aryl halide, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what we have learned in classification? First of all, there are two types. Haloalkene and haloarine. Okay. Now both of these haloalkene and haloarine, they have what? Three types. They have mono, right? All of them have mono, di, and tri. Right? Now, the monohaloalkane and monohaloarine, these are further classified into two parts, in which you have sp3-CX bond. And in sp3-CX bond, we have what categories? We have categories such as alkyl halide. Alkyl halides can be 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, right? Now, furthermore, sp3-CX bond is of what else? What category can we have? Tell me. What did I write? Allylic halide.
Allyl.
Yes or no? Allylic or allyl halide. So in allyl halide, what do we have? We have a sequence like this: a halogen atom connected to sp3 carbon atom CH2, which is further connected to carbon double bond carbon. Correct? Yes or no? Please tell me. Yes or no? Then next we have what? Benzylic halide or benzyl halide. Okay, whatever you can write. Now in this we have X, which is connected to sp3 carbon which is further connected to benzene ring. Clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Now monohaloalkene, it also has another classification which is sp2cx bonds, है ना? And this sp2cx bond are of two types. What are these two? It is vinylic or vinyl halide. What happens in vinyl halide? The halogen atom is directly connected to a carbon-carbon double bond, है ना? And then we have one that is aryl halide. In aryl halide, what do we have? We have the halogen atom that is directly connected to the benzene ring. Clear? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us try to do some nomenclature. Okay. Okay. Yes or no? Tell me. Okay. Okay. So I will first of all give you an example. Okay. इसके बाद हम बताएंगे आपको कि आप लोग जो नॉमेनक्लेचर है उसको किस तरह से देखना है. I will write one answer, then I will start. So this is one of the compound. ठीक है, तो इसका नाम भी हम आपको बता देते हैं ना, इसका नाम भी बताते हैं. And then what we will do, we'll analyze this name. So this is the name. ठीक है, this is 4-bromo pen2e. कैसे आया वो बाद में देखेंगे. अभी देखिए, in this name you can see a few things, जिसके तरफ आपका हम ध्यान खींचना चाहते हैं. Things that you should concentrate with. Okay, now I will classify. You have this E. Okay, ठीक है, then you have this En. Forget about the numbers right now. Then you have this En. Then you have this pen, and then you have this bromo. Pen है आपके पास यहाँ पे, and then you have this bromo. ठीक है? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Okay. हम आपको अभी बोल रहे हैं जो चीज उसके बारे में बस आप हाँ में हाँ मिलाइए. ठीक है? Don't worry about it. This E, it represents functional group. This En, it represents unsaturation. Okay, and this pent, it represents the parent carbon. And this bromo, it represents the substituent. Clear? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
ठीक है, याद रहेगा? कैसे याद रहेगा? अभी हम इसको लिखाएंगे तब तो याद रहेगा. Substituent. Now each and every IUPAC name, it has these 4 things with it: substituent, then you have parent, then you have unsaturation, then you have functional group. ठीक है, देन यू हैव द फंक्शनल ग्रुप। यहाँ तक क्लियर है? यस और नो प्लीज टेल मी। ठीक है, अब देखिए हर चीज में आपके पास ना कुछ ये होगा। Now functional group, it can be, there is a list of functional group that you can remember. There is a list of functional group that you can remember. Okay. Now what is that list of functional group? So that list of functional group, it has, you can say 10 or 11 that you can remember at most. It will end with either E. If you don't have any functional group now, then the last part will be E, or else it can be oic acid. ओइक एसिड रहेगा तो कौन सा ग्रुप रहेगा? COH। ये पता है आपको? यस और नो? आइडेंटिफाई कर लीजिएगा। ओइक एसिड है तो COH पता है कि नहीं पता? ये बताइए आप। पता है ना? ठीक है, अच्छा। यू कैन ऑल्सो हैव O8। O8 रहेगा तो यानी कि क्या है आपके पास? कौन सा ग्रुप है? टेल मी। यू कैन एंड द नेम, देयर विल बी एन एंड जहां पे आपके पास O8 आता है। O8 आएगा तो यू हैव ईस्टर ग्रुप, है ना? जो आपका सेकंड चैप्टर है अल्कोहल फेनॉल ईस्टर्स, उसमें आएगा आपके पास O8। ओके, देन you can have what? You can have amide. These are the main one. Okay, main एकदम main जो है, जो बहुत रिपीट होते हैं, उसके बारे में। Now you can also have nitrile। amide होगा यानी कि किस तरह का बॉन्ड होगा? You will have C double bond O NH2। ऐसा अगर आपका कहीं आता हो तो आपके पास क्या बॉन्ड, कौन सा फंक्शनल ग्रुप है? amide। ओके, then either it can end with nitrile। What is nitrile? If you don't have any of this and you just have C triple bond N, है ना? ये सारी नहीं है, उसके बाद अगर नाइट्राइल है तब जाके आपके पास नाइट्राइल एंड में आएगा। इफ यू हैव नाइट्राइल एंड ओइक एसिड, देन ओइक एसिड विल विन, एंड व्हाट यू विल हैव ओइक एसिड। बट इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी, देन द एंड विल बी विद E। ओके, यस और नो? टेल मी। क्लियर है?
यस यस।
ओके, आफ्टर नाइट्राइल यू कैन हैव Al। Al किसके लिए आता बताइए? Al एंड में किसके लिए आता होगा? Al एल्डिहाइड। ओके, एल्डिहाइड। ओके, अच्छा ये बताइए नेक्स्ट वन, ओन, ये किसके लिए होता होगा? कौन सा फंक्शनल ग्रुप? नहीं याद आ रहा है? देखिए एल्डिहाइड होता है आपके पास ऐसा, C डबल बॉन्ड O एंड देयर इज अ H, दिस इज एल्डिहाइडिक ग्रुप, है ना? ओन होता है आपके पास कीटोन के लिए। इफ यू हैव कार्बन डबल बॉन्ड O इन द मिडल ऑफ द मेन चेन, देन दिस इज व्हाट? कीटोन। ओके, ठीक है, यस और नो? टेल मी। ये आप लिख लीजिए, अभी तो उतना इस्तेमाल नहीं होगा, लेकिन फिर भी इसको लिख लीजिए। बाद में जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे ना हम लोग, हैलोकेन, अल्कोहल, फेनॉल ईस्टर, एल्डिहाइड, कीटोन, कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड, देन यू विल बी हैविंग नाइट्रोजन कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड्स, है ना? उसमें ये सारी चीजें काम आएंगी। ओन, दैट विल बी फॉर कीटोन। OL, ये किसके लिए होगा बताइए? एंड में आ रहा है आपके पास OL, किसके लिए होगा? कोई आइडिया है? अल्कोहल, वेरी गुड, अल्कोहल। ओके, एंड द लास्ट अमीन। इस ऑर्डर में याद रखिए, ये E कब आएगा? जब कोई भी नहीं हो। जब इनमें से कोई नहीं है तब क्या आएगा? E आएगा। इज दिस क्लियर? इज और नो प्लीज टेल मी। ठीक है, ओके। नाउ अनसैचुरेशन में आपके पास 3 केस है। अनसैचुरेशन में फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू विल सी इफ देयर इज if you will have a double bond, what do you have? If you have a double bond, then क्या आप लगाइएगा? En। if you have a triple bond, then क्या लगाइएगा आप? Yn। and if you don't have any of this, then you will put An। clear? Yes or no please tell me।
yes।
okay, अच्छा, if you have 2 double bonds, then you will be putting di-En। ठीक है, ओके
ओके।
है ना? डाई ट्राई टेट्रा में वो आप देखिए, जब जैसे सवाल आएगा उस हिसाब से हम लोग चेंज कर लेंगे। अभी वैसे ही आप सोचिए ना, इफ यू हैव 2 अल्कोहलिक ग्रुप, देन यू विल बी राइटिंग डाई-ऑल। इफ यू हैव 2 एल्डिहाइड, देन यू विल बी राइटिंग डाई-एल। इफ यू हैव 2 नाइट्राइल, देन यू विल बी राइटिंग डाई-नाइट्राइल। ठीक है, सो दोस डाई ट्राई टेट्रा, ये जो केसेस है, इफ यू हैव मल्टीपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप, दैट मींस मल्टीपल ओइक एसिड, मल्टीपल O8, मल्टीपल अमाइड, देन डाई ट्राई टेट्रा लगाते हैं, समझ में आ जाएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। अब पेरेंट का तो आपको आई थिंक यू विल नो दिस। अ पेरेंट विल स्टार्ट विथ मेथ, it can be eth, prop, but, pent। सही है? yes or no tell me। this is for 1 carbon, this is for 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbon, you can write more, hex, hept, oct, ठीक है, क्लियर है यहाँ तक? प्लीज टेल मी।
यस।
नाउ सब्स्टिट्यूएंट्स में आपके पास क्या क्या आ सकता है? देखिए सब्स्टिट्यूएंट में एक तो आ गया आपके पास नाइट्रो, NO2। नाइट्रो किसके लिए होगा? NO2। ठीक है, देन यू विल हैव हैलो। हैलो में क्या आ जाएगा? क्लोरो, ब्रोमो, फ्लोरो, आयोडो। ठीक है, विल हैव फ्लोरो, क्लोरो में आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं, फ्लोरो। स्पेलिंग देख लीजिएगा, आई एम गेटिंग कंफ्यूज नाउ विद स्पेलिंग। ओके, फ्लोरो का फ्लोरो, ब्रोमो, क्लोरो, आयोडो। ठीक है, क्लियर? ये सब निकलेंगे।
यस।
नाउ अदर इन सब्स्टिट्यूएंट्स विल बी, सब्स्टिट्यूएंट में और क्या आ सकता है आपके पास? नाइट्रो हो गया और हालो हो गया, देन यू कैन आल्सो हैव एल्काइल। एल्काइल मतलब आपके पास अगर एक कार्बन लगा हुआ है सब्स्टिट्यूएंट में, दैट विल बी व्हाट? दैट विल बी मिथाइल। दो कार्बन है तो इथाइल, तीन कार्बन है तो प्रोपाइल। क्लियर है? यस और नो? टेल मी।
यस।
ठीक है, अब हम लोग किसी एक भी इसको लेते हैं, एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं। अब इसी को लेते हैं, ठीक है ना, इसी को लेते हैं, इसी में देखते हैं आपके पास नाम कैसा है। अच्छा, वन नोट यू विल राइट, द पेरेंट should be chosen such that it should contain फंक्शनल ग्रुप। ठीक है, कौन सा फंक्शनल ग्रुप? अगर आपके पास मॉलिक्यूल में इन सब में से कोई एक है तो वो फंक्शनल ग्रुप आपके पास पेरेंट चेन में होना चाहिए, है ना। इफ नॉट देन डबल बॉन्ड। अगर डबल बॉन्ड भी नहीं है, इफ नॉट देन ट्रिपल बॉन्ड। हम देखेंगे ट्रिपल बॉन्ड आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है ना। इफ नॉट देन मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ substituents. If not, then the longest chain. ठीक है, इसको याद रखिएगा। ये तो जो बताया जाता है ना स्कूलों में, लॉन्गेस्ट चेन देखो, लॉन्गेस्ट चेन देखो, दैट इज द मोस्ट रॉन्ग थिंग समवन कैन से। First of all, parents should have functional group. If functional group is not there, then you will look, if double bond is there in the compound, that means you have to have a parent chain such that the double bond is inside that parent chain. If the double bond is not there and there is some triple bond, then the triple bond should be there. If that is also not present, then you will look at the number of substituent, maximum number of substituents should be there in the parent group. If that is also not there, then you will look at the longest chain. Is this clear? Yes or no? Please tell me. Harifat?
Yes.
ठीक है, सबसे पहले क्या देखेंगे हम लोग? पेरेंट चूज करने के लिए फंक्शनल ग्रुप। फंक्शनल ग्रुप नहीं है तो डबल बॉन्ड होना चाहिए, डबल बॉन्ड नहीं है तो ट्रिपल बॉन्ड। हाँ, टेल मी, यू आर सेइंग समथिंग?
नहीं।
यू आर सेइंग समथिंग, ठीक है। चलिए, नाउ लेट अस राइट दिस एग्जांपल। तो यहाँ पे सबसे पहले हम लोग क्या चूज करेंगे बताइए? फंक्शनल ग्रुप। टेल मी व्हाट इज द फंक्शनल ग्रुप हियर? इज देयर एनी फंक्शनल ग्रुप? बताइए, डू वी हैव एनी फंक्शनल ग्रुप हियर? इनमें से कोई है? कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड, ईस्टर, अमाइड, नाइट्राइल, एल्डिहाइड, कीटोन, अल्कोहल, अमीन। Yes or no? Tell me. अच्छा, ये बताइए, ऑक्सीजन या नाइट्रोजन है?
नहीं।
फंक्शनल ग्रुप नहीं है, ठीक है, हम बता रहे हैं। कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड ओइक एसिड होता है ना, क्या होता है उसका? COOH। ईस्टर का क्या होता है? COOR। अमाइड का क्या होता है? CONH2। नाइट्राइल का क्या होता है? CN। एल्डिहाइड का क्या होता है? CHO। कीटोन का क्या होता है? CO। अल्कोहल का होता है OH और अमीन का होता है NH2। तो ये दिख रहा है आपको? अगर ऑक्सीजन या नाइट्रोजन है तभी आप ढूंढिएगा फंक्शनल ग्रुप कौन सा है, ठीक है? Yes or no? Tell me.
ओके।
है ना, ठीक है। तभी आप ढूंढिएगा फंक्शनल ग्रुप है या नहीं है, नहीं तो मत ढूंढिएगा। फंक्शनल ग्रुप है नहीं है, सो व्हाट शुड आई राइट हियर, टेल मी। नो, देयर इज नो
No.
फंक्शनल ग्रुप, देन उसके लिए क्या आईयूपैक नेम में क्या लिखते हैं बताइए, इनमें से देखिए कौन सा होगा। इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी फंक्शनल ग्रुप देन व्हाट डू वी राइट?
We check double bond.
ई ई ई लिखते हैं, ई
हाँ,
लिखते हैं,
E
क्या
लिख-
लिखते हैं? हाँ भूल जाते हैं आप, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा, भूल जाते हैं।
नहीं,
क्या
मुझे
लिखते
लगा
हैं?
कि आप पूछ रहे हैं क्या देखते हैं।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, क्या लिखते हैं? इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी फंक्शन देन यू विल राइट ई, है ना, दैट मींस द नेम विल एंड विद ई। उसके बाद अनसैचुरेशन बताइए, डू वी हैव अ डबल बॉन्ड, ट्रिपल बॉन्ड और सिंगल? डबल बॉन्ड ट्रिपल बॉन्ड है?
डबल बॉन्ड
डबल बॉन्ड है तो क्या लिखेंगे
EN
बताइए? ई एन, वेरी गुड। उसके बाद क्या देखते हैं? पेरेंट,
A.
है ना। अच्छा, पेरेंट फंक्शनल ग्रुप तो नहीं है, लेकिन हमको देखिए पेरेंट में सबसे पहले, उसके बाद आप क्या कीजिएगा, टर्मिनल्स देखिएगा। टर्मिनल मतलब एंड एंड कार्बन, तो दिस इज वन एंड, ये कार्बन आपका एक एंड है, एंड दिस इज द अदर एंड, यस और नो? इसी को लेके चलते हैं। कितने कार्बन हो गए? 1 2 3 4 5 कार्बन हो गए, यस और नो? टेल मी।
हाँ,
अपने से खुद से किया हुआ है ना, ये बना लिया आपने स्ट्रक्चर, यस और नो?
yes.
हाँ बनाइए उसको, हाइलाइटर है तो हाईलाइट कीजिए कि कौन से 5 कार्बन हो रहे हैं, और 1 2 3 4 में नंबर मत कीजिएगा अभी, ठीक है, नंबरिंग मत कीजिएगा, हम बताएंगे नंबरिंग का क्या होगा। कितने कार्बन आ रहे हैं बताइए?
5
5 कार्बन। 5 कार्बन यानी कि क्या होगा? एथ मेथ प्रोप ब्यूट पेंट, क्या होगा?
and
पेंट, वेरी गुड, ठीक है। नाउ दिस लिसन व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, डायलॉग याद रखिएगा। आफ्टर द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ फंक्शनल ग्रुप, अनसैचुरेशन एंड पेरेंट, whatever remains is the substituent. What did I say? after the identification of functional group, unsaturation and parent, whatever remains in the molecule is substituent. Clear hai? What did I say? Repeat.
after
the
identification of functional group,
functional group, functional,
unsaturation and parent, whatever
whatever
remains
is
whatever
is
remains
is substituent.
substitute.
Whatever remains is substituent. अब देखिए, so we are done with this पेरेंट अनसैचुरेशन, हमने सब कर लिया, ठीक है। हाइड्रोजन को तो नहीं देखते हैं, बचा क्या आपके पास? दिस ब्रोमीन, सही है, यस और नो? इसके अलावा तो कुछ नहीं बचा ना, एवरीथिंग इज टेकन केयर ऑफ, यस और नो?
Yes.
हाइड्रोजन को नहीं नाम देते हैं, ये तो पता है ना आपको, हाइड्रोजन को नहीं नाम देते, करेक्ट, रेफर।
हाँ,
हाँ ठीक है, चलिए। सब्स्टिट्यूएंट में क्या है आपके पास बताइए? ब्रोमीन। तो ब्रोमीन को कैसे लिखते हैं?
ब्रोमो.
कैसे लिखते हैं? ब्रोमो, वेरी गुड, ब्रोमो। अब बस एक काम बचा है हमारा, दैट इज नंबरिंग। नाउ देखिए, नंबरिंग का भी वही हाल है जो पेरेंट का है। नंबरिंग इज आल्सो व्हाट? नंबरिंग इज आल्सो लाइक पेरेंट। नंबरिंग किसकी तरह है?
Parent.
पेरेंट की तरह है। दैट मींस वी विल स्टार्ट विद दैट कार्बन, we will start with that carbon or that terminal which is nearest to functional group, which is nearest to what?
Functional.
If not then
Answer.
if not then
If
double bond. We'll start numbering with that carbon atom which is nearest to,
double bond.
नहीं, functional group सबसे पहले देखेंगे,
Functional
क्या
group.
देखेंगे? हाँ, functional group. If not then
Double.
double bond. If not then
Triple bond.
if not then the substituent. If not then the
Substitute.
ठीक है। देखिए, फंक्शनल ग्रुप, डबल बॉन्ड, ट्रिपल बॉन्ड, ये जो आपके पास सीक्वेंस है ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। फंक्शनल ग्रुप, डबल बॉन्ड एंड ट्रिपल बॉन्ड। अरे आप जब महारत हासिल हो जाएगी आपको ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री, आप बताइए तो कहीं, ठीक है, यू जस्ट गिव इट टाइम, महारत PhD, व्हाट क्या हो जाएगा? PhD। नाउ अब बताइए, हमारे पास हैं दो टर्मिनल, वी हैव अ टर्मिनल A एंड वी हैव अ टर्मिनल B। वी हैव अ टर्मिनल A एंड टर्मिनल समझ में आता है, ये नो एंड कार्बन, ठीक है। हाँ, अब बताइए A और B में से किसको चूज करेंगे हम लोग? कहां से नंबरिंग स्टार्ट करेंगे? A से। क्यों? बिकॉज डबल बॉन्ड इज नियरेस्ट टू A, यस और नो? कोई कंफ्यूजन? कोई कंफ्यूजन है ना? कभी होगा कंफ्यूजन? कभी होगा? नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि फंक्शनल ग्रुप देखेंगे, फंक्शनल ग्रुप नहीं है तो डबल बॉन्ड, नहीं है तो ट्रिपल बॉन्ड, नहीं है तो सब्स्टिट्यूएंट, ठीक है, कभी नहीं होगा। सो नाउ वी विल स्टार्ट लाइक दिस, 1 2 3 4 एंड 5, ठीक है। अब आ गया नंबरिंग देने का बाद, है ना। सो विल स्टार्ट विद सब्स्टिट्यूएंट ओनली, वी विल सी सब्स्टिट्यूएंट ब्रोमो। ब्रोमो कौन से नंबर में बताइए? 4। देखिए पेरेंट को नंबरिंग नहीं करते, अनसैचुरेशन करते, फंक्शनल ग्रुप करते अगर होता तो। अनसैचुरेशन कहाँ पे बताइए? अनसैचुरेशन EN कहाँ पे है? 2 पे, वेरी गुड। अब बस यहाँ से स्टार्ट कर दीजिए, 4 ब्रोमो पेंट 2 E। देखिए भले ही आपको कंपाउंड देखते ही नाम नहीं आएगा, दैट इज फॉर श्योर, ठीक है। कंपाउंड के देखते ही कभी भी आपके दिमाग में ऐसे नाम ऐसे टपक के आ जाए, कभी नहीं होगा। ऐसा नहीं है ना, दोस्त नहीं है ना आपका कि आप आए, ओ आफरीन आई है, ओ फातिमा आई है, ऐसा नहीं आएगा कभी, ठीक है। ऐसे कभी नहीं आएगा। आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? यू विल हैव टू नैरो इट डाउन, यू विल हैव टू स्टार्ट विद सिंपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप, देन अनसैचुरेशन, देन पेरेंट एंड देन सब्स्टिट्यूएंट। दिस सीक्वेंस इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड यू नो ईच एंड एवरी नुआंस। फंक्शनल ग्रुप के लिए यू हैव दिस चॉइस, है ना। बट मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस आपके हैलो अल्केन में क्या होंगे? ई वाले होंगे, ठीक है। देन अनसैचुरेशन डबल ट्रिपल है, डबल में EN, ट्रिपल में YN। इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी ऑफ दीस देन देयर विल बी AN। पेरेंट में यू विल हैव, अच्छा पेरेंट चूज कौन सा करना है? यू हैव दिस नोट, the parent should be chosen such that it should contain the functional group, if not then the double bond, if not then the triple bond, if not then the maximum number of substituent, and if not then the longest chain। longest chain का तो नंबर बहुत ही आखिरी में आता है, ठीक है। now what is substituent? anything that remains after the identification of functional group unsaturation parent is the substituent। clear है Rifat? yes or no? please tell me।
yes।
ये आसानी से हुआ 4 ब्रोमो पेंटेन, yes or no?
हाँ।
अब आपको हम